Hey guys, my name is Zediac and welcome back to another episode of OilTown here in City Skylines 2. Where last episode, guys, we built our very own garbage facility and brand new power station, which is going to kind of solve all the issues and problems and give us the capacity for the foreseeable future. Now, before we get into it, guys, I'm going to say right now, if you are enjoying the series so far, then make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new so you get notified when more episodes do come out. And it's really important that you do this, guys, because today we have a big issue. And I don't know how to explain this fully. Now, recently, and I say recently, over the past few days, the developers have implemented a brand new patch. And you can see this from Steam right now. For me, it was implemented yesterday. Patch here. And there's something scary in here that I have spotted. I've tested it out. And it literally is going to kill this series off. And what they've done is they've changed how pollution... They've fixed many things and adjusted many things. But they've changed how pollution works in the game. One of the big things they've done is they've adjusted air pollution. Now, this is the biggest thing here that's about to kill this series. They've adjusted air pollution. Overall, more air pollution is generated. Okay, bear that in mind. More air pollution is now generated. It spreads slightly more. Okay, the word slightly is incorrect. It spreads rapidly. And dissipates slower, which means it takes longer for it to disappear and then get over the area that's currently covering. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's pretty cool, Zediac. That's amazing. Yeah, okay, great stuff. The answer is no, it's not great stuff. It's, I don't want to sound like on a downer right now, but I've ran a simulation of this city before recording this. I'm going to implement or kind of add in right now a small little snippet of what the air pollution looked like after like a 5-minute simulation. So insert video here, future Zediac. So obviously, as you can see, pollution is now a nightmare, especially air pollution. Now, it spreads, in my opinion, too much. It's completely overkill. It's ridiculous, okay? It means, fair enough, I have built a lot of this this stuff downwind. Fair enough, I know, I will hold my hands up for that. But there is no way, shape or form, right, air pollution should be that bad in this new patch. They haven't patched it, they've broken it. And it means wherever you build a building that produces anything above medium pollution, air pollution that is, you cannot build anything downwind ever. It's just going to go. Now, I haven't pressed play yet, okay? This is what I'm worried about. You've seen from the simulation what happens. I need to quickly do something about this so it doesn't happen right now. So it's going to completely change right now how I'm going to have to build this oil field. It's going to completely change how I build this island in general. It hasn't helped that I've built a lot of stuff downwind or near where wind can blow to it, but it's not a huge issue if I can get on top of it straight away. There is areas that do blow away and down from the residential areas, which is mainly down here. So I'm going to have to move the oil industry or the oil fields down in this part of the island. It's a lot more of a task than I anticipated. We have little islands over here we can also utilize to building oil kind of fields and stuff like that and drill over there. But if I don't sort this now, OilTown is going to cease to exist. It will become a zombie apocalypse. So if you're watching this, developers, I think you've gone a little bit overkill on the air pollution. Just pointing it out there right now. Just pointing it out there. So what I'm going to do real quick right now, guys, is quickly delete the first few buildings here. Before I press play and before they start generating vast amounts of pollution, okay? So you can already see, before I was able to pause the game, they've already started to generate quite high amounts already. We're going to delete this row here as well. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you very much. Now, we can build like land borders or land walls with terrain in to try and stop some of the air flowing going in that direction, but ultimately it's windy. It still blows over it. It's in the sky. It's at all levels, which is really annoying. So you can see it all blows down, and that's what I've got to now trying to avoid. So I've got to figure out where is it that the wind stops blowing. So if I delete you and delete you, you can see at this road here. This road here is the line of where the wind starts blowing in that direction. Now, is that the case going all the way down here? So there, so if whatever, that building there would have blown this way anyway, so we would have got away with it. So I reckon what I've now just deleted, I'll delete this one as well. I reckon what I've just deleted is hopefully enough for the air pollution not to blow over into the city. Now, guys, you've seen the air pollution. What you see as right now is what it's always been like, okay? I've had this oil field in for a few episodes right now. We've seen the pollution in the past. Nothing's changed apart from the fact that now these buildings are now generating red air pollution, okay? They're now generating red air pollution. And that's going to now reduce the amount of air flow or pollution coming down this way. It means I've now got all this space to now work with, which is actually quite exciting. But you'll now start seeing the generation of red air pollution, and already you can see it starting to happen. You can see it starting to get generated. The incinerator is a big one as well, but that has been placed in a area where wind does blow nowhere near all of this. We should see the air pollution reducing down here, but yeah, look at that. It's now starting to generate red, and that's just going to spread, and that's going to kind of cover all this area. So, in reality, there is a few buildings I can kind of put back. But what I'm thinking of is not doing that, okay? What I'm thinking of doing instead is, like, for example, deleting this road going all the way down, deleting this building, and then making these two here be bigger and longer. Because the pollution comes from the main building. So if the pollution comes from the main building, I can just make these a bit bigger with Anarchy. Which is the one that kind of snaps. There we go. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. Oh, actually, no, I won't deal with that. I just realised it's not even snapped to the road that very well. Right, come on, you fool. There we go. There we go. So that then not only gives us more coverage, because now we gain the coverage of where the road would have been, and we gain the coverage of where the other building would have been. So we actually gain more surface area, and we get more jobs because it adjusts for it. So if I do the same to this one, make this one a lot bigger as well. There we go. So it kind of tricks the game into thinking, yeah, we do have the oil wells. I mean, I could make the oil fields go all the way down, but I now gain this area. I could make them go a little bit further down. I kind of could trick them, so we could still get to keep them where they are. It's just, this pollution's going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Now, it doesn't seem that bad right now, but you've seen from the previous footage how ridiculous it actually gets. We're just going to make sure that it doesn't spread any more than it actually currently does. So that, I've just seen this here reduce back. So if we keep watching this little section just here, if I put my mouse round about in the middle, there we go. Now it's over here where it changes. So it is reducing. So I think I've saved OilTown, okay? Okay, this is why I like to do some, like, you know, testing before I record when anything does change. I think I've slightly saved it. Now, what's interesting is, right, these buildings here, they are producing more than these buildings. Now, what's the difference? Is there a difference? One produces crude oil, the other one produces crude oil as well. There is no difference to what they produce. Is it because that one's more established? I truly do not know. I truly do not know. But what I am going to do, though, is get rid of that and get rid of these, which is going to mess up the bus route there, which I'll fix in just a mo. And I'm going to get rid of you. Actually, I'll get rid of you as well. I'm going to get rid of that road. Get rid of this road. And we're just going to make them bigger. I think that's the way that we solve it, is just make them bigger. Oh, why did I just delete that road? I don't know why I just deleted that road. Let me put that road back in. Right, there we go. There we go. So, this we make bigger. It's just what I have to do. You kind of have to adjust everything on the fly now because of this patch. Now, if in the future they decide to revert that patch back, at least then I can kind of add some more stuff in. I don't lose any jobs because I still get this. I still get the same amount of jobs. The industry adjusts for it, so it's not the end of the world. The industry does adjust for it. So bring you down to here, you all the way down to there. So that sorts that one out, which is here. So it's gone up to 31. It might go a bit more. I'm not too sure. Now this one here has 21, but as we bring this even further down now. So I'm just thankful it doesn't produce the pollution from the buildings within it. That goes up to 33 now, that one does. This one's 29. So bring this one further down. There we go. So from up to 44. Right, that will annoy me this little bit here. Let me just push it over a bit. There we go. There we go. So we got to sort that bus route out. So, is it a waypoint? I think it's a waypoint, isn't it? Yeah. So it doesn't actually need to be up here no more. So if I just scrap it off, and to be honest with you, I don't think it needs to go to that bus stop anymore as well. I don't feel like this bus route makes much sense now at this point, does it? So I've extended it a bit bigger, and what I'll do here is when we extend the road out, I'll turn this one, I'll put the main building up here, and then bring this one down. So I've gone from having multiple separate industry oil areas to now having just singular large ones that cover greater areas because of this simple fact that air pollution is now going to be rampant. Now, because we had before previously multiple buildings, it means multiple air pollution producers, which by reducing it now to the amount of buildings that we do have, that's worked in our favour. I still don't get why these ones here aren't producing as much pollution as these ones here. It's weird, isn't it? But again, we're just giving it time for this to kind of reduce. Now, is this reducing? Is it? I want to see if this area is reducing here. I got my eyes fixated on where my mouse is. I think it's doing pretty much the same, isn't it? I don't think it's changing much. But more people are complaining about air pollution in general anyway. So we got to sort something out there. It could be that maybe this industry here is a bit of an issue. So I could move this and then drag this further down. Because this might be on the cusp where it's enough to kind of push a bit of pollution into the wind blowing. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a tricky scenario, but let me now extend this. So this is a super long one as well. So that currently has 13 people working there. And after the full extension, it goes up to 21, 28. Nice. Nice, boys. Who would have thought my biggest issue in this series right now would have been the developers? You know what I mean? So let me now buy a few more tiles. We'll buy these tiles here, which are going to cost me 600,000. Now, in doing that, it should now allow... I like how we've also going to be staggering these as well. I think it adds a little bit more character. By doing that, I can now build this. And we'll bring it to the end. I'm not sure how I like how it's trying to build there. If I build this in smaller stages. That would do fine. Do the same with this one. Just run that to the end here. And then what I can do is I can delete this road. To be honest with you, I'm going to delete that as well. And I'm going to build a building up there and then drag this whole rectangle here for the oil field. It just makes more sense. It honestly just makes more sense. So if I went there with you and then just kind of gave us a little bit of a coastline. So I'll snap to there and I'll come back and adjust it in just a minute. All the way up. And let me just slightly adjust that. So how many jobs does that one provide? That one provides 54 at the moment, but I just want to kind of slightly adjust. So it runs a little bit closer. Let me turn the snapping off as well. I mean, it'll never be perfect. It will never be perfect. But that provides 55 jobs. I mean, I could go a little bit further up there as well. Nothing's stopping me doing that. So, in reality, developers could do me a favor by pushing me outside of my comfort zone right now. But I'm still not a huge fan of what's coming down. But it did say in the patch that it also slowly dissipates, which is why it's taking so long for it to go. But I feel like it's also spreading a lot more. So it's still eating into us. It's still somehow kind of covering over, which it shouldn't do. But this is the existing pollution. Some of it is the existing pollution that was there. So what I'll do as well is I'll get rid of all of these roads here. Because we're going to get rid of this industry now as well. That's now going to go. It does also mean that the bus route around here is a little bit of an issue. That no longer exists. So let me get rid of you. We currently got to there. We're going to have to redo that green bus route as well. But that's no longer a thing. So it means I can then expand this going all the way down. So I don't have snapping on no more. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out. It does mean that I've got to get right into there now to see where we're currently at. And that provides 64 jobs. That there is our biggest one yet. That really is our biggest one yet. Okay. We're going to kind of keep the roads going because this is how it is. Now, we do have a 4-lane road here. I'm not sure if the highway system, when I eventually build it, will come down here. It could be a good thing to do. So we might just continue this 4-lane road and kind of turn it into a fashion of where we could eventually start seeing ourselves heading with this. If I do a 224-ish, there we go. And then if I pick a spot randomly there to kind of run diagonally, and then pick another spot here. Actually, we'll kind of run that parallel. So delete you. And get our 4-lane road. Which is a 103 to a 104. That's fine by me. So that's where that 4-lane road's going to bend. It's the main dragger road with a higher speed limit for it to kind of continue. So what I'll do next is we'll run the singular road here. And we'll kind of get it to run into this. So if I run that to there. Right, this needs to snap. So the snap or the connection would take place here. So if I go to here with that. 75 by 75. Run it directly in. So that's how we can kind of align it going inwards. So this here will now extend to cover all of that. But again, the main building, I want to get it away from there as much as possible. So we'll delete the road. Delete the building itself. Build it up here, and then get it to cover this vast area. Which is absolutely huge, isn't it, though? It is absolutely huge, that. But it's pretty much what we've got to do to kind of take advantage. So I'll start with snapping. We'll start with snapping and we'll come and fine tune it all. So get right in on this. Now this is going to be our biggest one yet. Should be our biggest one yet. And how many jobs does that provide? At the moment, 66. I think I might just keep it like that. I won't fine tune it just yet. 66 jobs, that's a lot, isn't it? That already is a lot. But I will fine tune it to the edge of the land. Now, I could delete this road and then make this go all through here as well. Because there's no point building another building in that little area because it just adds to the pollution. More buildings, more pollutes. So it's about moving the buildings backwards a bit more. And by that logic, I'm probably going to delete this one and move that up a bit more and move the buildings further up. Because the more I can get them away from down here, the actual buildings that make the pollution, the better. It's like with these two here, it's a case of I can make these stretch all the way down and just cover it and it's less buildings getting closer. Right, let's just do the road a bit more right now. So, I want this road just to slightly continue a bit more. And then we'll pick our point. So if I make this go forward. And then I want it to bend in here at some point. Oh, that's going to be... That's not going to be fun, isn't it, with the terrain? Let me just sort this terrain out. So, is it soften? Let me go a bit bigger. Bit bigger. Bigger. Oh, that's too big. Just hoping it's not so harsh on the road now. I mean, you're never going to win. It's always going to be pretty harsh. We'll bring you to there, and then this is where we want this bend to take place. 135, 136. Right, bend that up and round, and then what I'll do for all of this now is obviously delete this road, delete you, delete you, delete that road, delete this road. I'm going to delete this because I'm going to put the main building up there. So I'm just moving everything over. I'm starting to think about deleting these two and moving this all the way down as well. But this is some serious oil industry now, boys. I'm going to delete this one. Yikes. Now, I remember when I kind of built this area up, that we were making 130,000. That's the most I've ever seen this industry make. So it could be a case of, after I've done all this, we'll kind of take a look to see how much we're now making. When I say 130,000, it's we're exporting 120. It was between 120 and 130,000 worth of crude oil. That's how I was kind of gauging how much we were making at this point. All right, bring this going round. Now that's a huge one, boys. That is, could that be my newest, biggest one? 95 workers. Okay, that's glorious. That is glorious. Okay, so let's double check the pollution. You can see right now, we've really moved it further upwards. I'm just, you could argue it is dissipating here. It is actually working. So I think we are going to solve it. We are going to solve it. I think the key is you have to use anarchy, which is, it is annoying because, you know, it's not part of the vanilla game. But I think the key is bigger, less buildings, bigger areas with anarchy. Because the more buildings you put in, the more pollution it generates. And if you get hit by the wind, you're just going to cover it like in the little test I run, the little kind of a preview I showed you at the start. So at least we've kind of figured that out to a certain extent. Now, the wind coming down here just kind of continues and blows out. So we are saving ourselves dramatically here. This is ridiculous, isn't it? Right, build this building in. And go around with all of this. And this, I think this might be our newest, biggest one. Right there. Now, I have lost a lot of jobs with deleting the industry area that was here, but we've recently set up a new section for, like, industry, so I can move that demand and those buildings over into that area. But it will take me a while to recover. Now, this one provides 105 jobs. Okay, I think at the end of this, we're going to come out a lot better than where we was. So I think that could work out. I mean, you could also argue, you could push it all the way back down to here. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore, does it? It actually doesn't mean anything to me. We can still keep this area covered, but the pollution happens all up this side. So yeah, there's no longer any buildings complaining about air pollution, which is a good sign. It's just, it dissipates more slowly. That's the only other issue I've got. And it's a shame we can't see the wind direction when you've got something built over it. Because that would have been nice to see. Now, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to delete this road. Delete this road. And then we're going to make these two here go all the way down. If it turns out these two are causing the pollution that still goes over to there, then I'll delete them and make these two go all the way down. But I'll give it the benefit of the doubt to begin with. But at least we've got a game plan if we need to change it. Now, it could make these ones now the biggest ones that I've currently got. So 74, okay, it doesn't make that one that big. Which means it wouldn't make this one that big either, so. That 105 is still the biggest one I've got. So, the grand scheme of it, boys, we now cover more area. I've gone from having, like, you know, 15 to 20 buildings to now having 2, 4, 6 buildings that would provide more jobs, and ideally they should also produce a lot more oil. Now, I could make these two also spread all the way down, but I'm going to leave it like that now and just see what happens. Oh, my goodness me. I was really panicking thinking this is going to kill off OilTown. But I think we've saved it, but air pollution is a really big issue. It is a really big issue, but it's also interesting to see that some buildings produce more pollution than others. That's a wild factor as well. That really is a wild factor. But it means lots of things. It means, because I got less buildings, less electricity is needed, less water and sewage services are needed, a lot less things are needed, but we still get the same amount of jobs, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing, boys. Absolutely amazing. It's also on the main drag road, the 4-lane road. Majority of these buildings, not all of them, which could mean that we can run a bus route going around eventually and it would all work. If I was to run a highway along, I'd have to pull one of these buildings back for it to kind of circulate around. It ain't the end of the world, but we've learned something today. We've learned something. And that is less buildings, minimal buildings, bigger radiuses, but you have to use anarchy. That's the only downside. Now, as my hospital's been overloaded right now, we've got one over here, which has got a lot of patients currently in. And where's the other one? It's over here, isn't it? This one, not that many. So I think we've managed to kind of treat everybody who was having issues with the air pollution. So, exports. So, taxation of the crude oil. It's 164. So, arguably, I'm now producing more crude oil. Well, I'm exporting more crude oil as well, I should say. Because we're now covering a wider area. That's amazing. Right. Brownie points for me. Brownie points for me. Zeniac, you're an absolute noob. Shut up right now, fool. Shut up. So, looking at the other air pollution then, where does it go? So, anything around here, blows blows in that direction. So I could build a large one in this area. Look at the amount of pollution right now covering this area. So from the little preview that I showed at the start when I ran this simulation before I started recording, when the whole island was almost red, you can see how much now air pollution does spread. It's quite dramatic, isn't it? It really is quite dramatic. So it has given me now the kick in the booty to buy more tiles. So I can buy these ones here. Yeah, they're expensive, but what I'm trying to do right now is suck up and buy the areas in which I'm able to place down the oil industry. It's like I need to utilize this land now, if that makes sense. So if I build the road in smaller segments, it won't cause that complete chaos. This is going to be a big one. This might be the biggest one yet. But this is what it's about, guys. You got to cover the island in oil fields. That's just what you have to do. Now, do I give us a little bit of an area here to work with? Do I give it something additional, or should I just completely cover it all up? Nah, let's cover it all up. I'm going to pull it over here as much as I can. And then start down there. And then running through the coastline. We should freehand this one, shouldn't we? Yeah. I'm going to try and do it where it's like an equal spacing so it looks... Well, it's not going to look even. This is going to be a huge one, boys. I'm going to throw it out there right now. 180 employees. I've called it 180 employees. Right, we're coming up to the end right now. And if I do snap in and go all the way, this is going to be way too big. And all the way back down. Right, how many jobs? 143. Okay, not the 180 I was expecting. May have slightly overjudged that one. But it covers a vast area of oil fields. So that's going to look a lot better. I think visually it's going to look a lot better right now. You get the big field of drills, but the pollution's all on the back end of it. Right, I'm going to sort these out now, because this will... So this does 66. So if I bring you out... Right, get no snapping on. Bring you all the way down. Alright, so there. Just make sure we got maximum coverage. Alright, bring that to there. Maybe not that close. Bring that one a little bit further in. So, with it like that, I gave us an extra 3 employees. Which we'll take. And then this one. How many additional employees do we get from this? Now we'll put it right against it. Right to there. So it gave us initial 1 employee, but we go right to the edge. Which we might be able to squeeze maybe 1 employee out of this. No, not quite, but that will do. That will do. We've got maximum coverage on the island in this area for oil drills and oil drilling. So that it's actually worked out a lot better. It looks a lot better visually now, doesn't it? It really does. It really does. The pollution has now subsided, so even though the developers have updated it to the point where it now does produce a lot more pollution, it's a lot more dangerous, it's a lot more aggressive. That's probably the best way to put it. Air pollution is so much more aggressive in this new patch, but it does take a lot longer to dissipate, which it is slowly dissipating, and then we should be all good. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, right. I can breathe a sigh of relief for what we've now just done. I really can. So, other things I want to look at then. In the last episode, I got a little bit confused with the power on these. Now, they produce power, both of them. Obviously, one's a gas plant, which uses petrochemicals from the oil industry. One's an incinerator, which also does produce power. They pump the power out onto the streets. So, in reality, I don't really need the transformers. So, I'm going to get rid of them for a quick second. But the issue is, with not needed them, it means that the buildings then have the little indicator pop up saying, like, we're not connected, la-di-da-di-da. You know what I mean? And it also does overload the road. So, we're going to have to create a few additional connections. Now, what I didn't think about is actually connecting these underground. So, if I connect them up to one another, just for now, until I do, whether I choose to sell it outside of the region or whether we need more transformers pushing power in different areas, for now, I'll connect them underneath just so it gets rid of the popping up icon. But my next issue is I'm funneling it all out on the same power lines on the road. So I need to add a few additional electrical cables to get us to distribute it a little bit more evenly. Now, I don't know... Actually, I'm not going to have this road here going round because I can back up the next oil areas. Oh, snap. That was the wrong road. That was the wrong road. Why is it not deleting? I can back up the next oil areas against whatever I do. So now I'm no longer worried about how the grid didn't align. That doesn't phase me no more. Right, run that all the way down. Oh my goodness me, what happened here? Alright, you're there. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, we're in business. We're back in business, boys. Or at least I think we are. So what I could do... I could either run additional roads down to these areas, or for now, until I do something about them, I could run... Right, that's above ground. This is below ground. I could run an extension line, just simply connecting there, which that then should get rid of the overloaded section here, and that solves the power issue and the visual kind of thing. So it could then mean that I could get rid... Right, I got to pause again because I'm overloading. I could get rid... and make this a little bit closer. It is very close to that, so I don't know whether to kind of come one away. Would you say one away is... Oh, no, 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 no. Right, let's sort out the terrain here, because this is my next thing I didn't like about this is the terrain. So what I want to do is almost have it, not leveled, but I'm going to level a nice little area. We should have terrained it from the get-go. Right, soften. Let me go bigger brush size. So what I want to do is have it almost semi on the same level. So then the road around it makes a little bit more sense. You know what I mean? Just makes a little bit more sense. So, if we level the terrain, just around it generically, and then we soften it around it generically, it won't be as harsh with the road border. So bringing this all the way up. Now, I don't know whether to kind of make this road border kick through here. Like, for example, hang on, let me bring this road up as well. I'm forgetting this road. Either like this, so it's on the edge, which I think might be the better option. And then bring you just like this. So it's not directly then a big box square. It's still a big box square, but there's a little bit of character now to it. We're smoothing the edges off as well. And then because of this road being... Is this on soften? We can soften this a little bit more. So the ramp leading up to it is not as harsh. And then we'll delete that. And then smoothen it a bit more again. I'll grind the edges here and smoothen. There we go. Smoothing down here. So then it all looks like it's kind of semi-natural. Right, bringing this out. And we'll bring it to about there. And then this should then begin the bend, which I think I'll do from this way. 51. 50. That will do me, boys. That will do me. Now, this road probably won't remain here. It's just my border, so I know the distance between. So is that enough then for the power to now sort itself out? It is. It is. Right. We're back in business. We're now all back in business, boys. So we should now be producing even more exports for crude oil, right? So I like to check the taxation. Crude oil, 200,000. Yes, we are producing so much more. It's unreal how much more we're now producing. So if the pollution does dissipate and it goes away from this area, because it's crawling back quite dramatically. If it becomes a case where there's nothing here, it means I can then extend and expand within this area and do more stuff with it. Now, the only downside is I did get rid of the zoned industry area there. So has that had a big effect on unemployment? I would say no, it hasn't, because we've got more wells in zoned oil industry, which would have provided a lot more jobs. So it has brought it down to, that's the lowest I've seen unemployment, by the way, is 29%. So we also have this area over here we can ultimately work with doing a little bit more factory zoning. So I'm not sure in where I'm pushing this all up, and two, I'm not sure where it's going to choose to bend. If I do a 112 there, that I feel like would be a bit of a ridiculous bend. Although it could work. And it semi-does work. It feels a little bit ridiculous. But it does add a bit of character. Now, what I could do for the rest of this is, while it is still a grid format, right, we can kind of bring it down as if it runs to all these edges and ends. And it almost creates cul-de-sacs. So I can't do much here because of the bus depot. But I can extend the road to build the industry around it. Now, if I choose the last straight bit there on that bend, means I can bring that down. It's not perfect, might I add. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. But I could also... I think this looks a bit ridiculous if I do it like this. But it's different, isn't it? It kind of comes away from it, and I might just kind of create this little bit of a cul-de-sac kind of end area for a bunch of industry. But it's 100% going to be something that I will adjust and change in the future. It's just now probably a temporary area just for me to kind of provide some jobs. We'll do the zoning on this side going all the way around. And I think that's as far as I'm going to take the zoned industry. We'll provide a lot of jobs, but it's becoming quite a bulky area, and I don't want to cause too many problems by having it all in one section. Right, this wind pollution, the air pollution, is really going to die down. It really is going to die down. Oh, I'm so happy that I've managed to adjust it. I mean, without anarchy, though, this wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't have been possible without the anarchy. So it goes to show that if you're playing vanilla, you're probably going to struggle if you want to build a vast oil region. Or just a vast area that pollutes in general. Basically, don't build anything downwind. But it spreads a lot further than you expect as well, which kind of also throws you off. So I don't know how much of it you can actually, you know, you could win. It is difficult. Now, one thing I've got to now fix is that broken bus line. So it's a narrow green line that goes all the way around, which does what I need it to do anyway, but it now just feels a little bit awkward and probably is not carrying as many people as I now want. So that green bus route, it comes down and it acts as the alternative route coming down here. I feel like at some point in the future, we're going to have to kind of go through all this and now slightly fix things. But I can make the red route be a bit better as well. Now, the green route is now slightly annoying. The main buildings are up here. So what I might make it do is have a bus stop shelter there. It doesn't need one there because there's literally nothing around. And I'll give it one just there. Which means deleting the bus stop shelter here. Also deleting the taxi ranks as well, because they are no longer needed here no more. That green bus route then no longer goes here. Right, it probably... was it stopping there? I don't think it was. But it doesn't need to stop there anyway. So it's going to stop now here. And it's going to stop here. It doesn't need to stop there. So I'll get rid of that one. And delete the bus stop. So the reason it does a double stop here, because that stop there gives us the radius for them to walk at the moment to the main buildings. There's 2 main buildings there. There's 2 main buildings up here. Oh, is it better if I make them kind of go up and round and then down and in? Or is that walkable to go all the way up to there? I'd argue no. Because I do have a bus stop then just there. So if I had the bus stop here. And instead of making them stop there, you make them stop here. Which means they choose to go up this side. It's a long drive. But there's nothing else for them over here at the moment to do anything about it. And then they'll kind of come down and then pick everybody up from there and off they go. And also pick everybody up from there as well. Which, to be honest with you, I think this might be a bit overloaded. I was going to say it might be a bit overloaded because if the bus fills up here, there's no room for anybody when they go to there. But it seems to be okay. I could make the blue line also do the exact same thing, but make it do the opposite way. Whereas the green line picks them up from the harbour to go this way, I can make the blue line kick in going that way. But it will be a pretty full bus anyway, leading out. It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one. I feel like once I've built up a little bit more, it's then going to be a case of, look at the bus gem I've got with them all going in as well. It will be a case of, I need to redo everything and I need to build a bigger bus area. What is the issue here? Is that blue bus going to leave? Can it not leave? I mean, it can leave. I think it was just waiting a moment, wasn't it? Yeah, we've got to sort out our buses. But for now, there is a bit of public transport. One last thing I'll probably get done is maybe the implementation of being able to have the red route come down here a bit more. So stop the bus there and then stop the bus here instead. Which means when it would go here, it would then initially go here forcing it to have a stop there, which this stop here replaces that one. Right? And then the red route has a bit more coverage for the industry. Now, those bus lines, the red route only has 4 buses. I'll up that to 5. Right. The blue route has got maximum 10 on. Which is being used quite dramatically. This is why I need to redo the bus routes. We need to have like terminals here, there, and everywhere. But at least we know. At least we know what the issue is, and it's something that we could eventually solve in the future. But I think we've solved it, guys. I think we've fixed it. I think we've now caught ourselves just right. So weirdly, now it's not producing as much pollution. Now it's all dissipated. This is no longer pumping out red. None of these pump out red. Now I feel like it's gone back to normal. Are the developers trying to, like, trigger me right now? Or is it a case of it only produces more in the winter because we need more oil? Oh, I don't know, boys. I don't know anymore. But now we've kind of got past that. It was something unexpected that I wasn't planning for, but it's actually done us a favor because it now looks a lot better. A little bit of a crash over there. And I've also figured out ways in which we can kind of make things a lot more efficient, make more money, provide more jobs, and also reduce the amount of pollution. So, to be honest with you guys, I'm now environmentally more friendly, right? Right? You can't deny that. I'm now environmentally friendly-ish. But we should go back to our plans. I've got an experiment that I want to try next episode to do with trains. If you want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.